Okay, how's that?
Hello.
Mute there. Okay.
Echoing, isn't it?
We're on?
Echoing, isn't it?
A little bit of an echo.
Yeah, it looks like, oh, people have joined. Yeah.
Hello, people.
Where do you?
Oh, hello. No echo. Just be careful of your mic a little bit because I'm hearing some.
It's my hair, probably. Ah, there it is.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah. Is that better?
I think that's fantastic. Okay, so friends.
Oh, you know what? Stand by.
We
1
are
second.
live.
Stand by.
I'm
having a little.
Stand by, friends.
There we go. That should be way better of a connection. Hold on.
Okay, great.
Is that one coming back? There we go.
There we go.
Are you back on?
I am. Are you?
Fantastic. Okay, and how are we set up on Facebook here, folks? Can you hear us? Ooh, yes. So much fun, this.
Yes.
So I've got a little story for everyone that actually we had a power cut. So we're at the neighbour's house and I'm squatting amongst the laundry. My friend has given me their bedroom. So it's a miracle we made it online. And I'm so thrilled because tonight we're with my dear, dear friend and great inspiration, Michelle Grimaldi. So Michelle,
Hello.
Here's our gal. Michelle has been working in the live entertainment industry for 20 years now as a production coordinator, assistant, backstage coordinator, amongst other roles. Michelle has thrived thoroughly doing this, working with many artists, the Chili Peppers, Leonard Cohen, huge highlights. And Michelle says the vast pieces of knowledge that she has attained on world tours and from such creative artists have been irreplaceable, to say the least. So we're so thrilled you're here today. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you. Which am I looking at? This guy or this guy or both?
Well,
I don't. Is it this
yeah.
one? This one's giving me serious lighting right here. I love that.
Then we go for the lighting. Sure. So
hello. Look, Sophia. Yes. She's from Newcastle. Oh, best stage mom. So musical theater stage manager. That was another little role. Just a little one.
We love that. Thank you, Gwen Langford, for letting us know you can hear us. Brilliant.
Oh, beauty.
So in the week leading up to International Women's Day, I'm having conversations with women in creative worlds. I'm so thrilled we have Michelle here today because Michelle has an insight in management, the tour, behind the scenes, all of this stuff that, in fact, is essential. Without people working behind the scenes, crew, management, you don't have a show. So I've seen time and time again, Michelle being so essential to the whole process. So I'd love to start with a question for you, Michelle. Can you share about your journey entering the music world and how this whole career has unfolded for you in a nutshell?
Yeah, absolutely. In a nut, my shell. Yeah, basically 20 years ago, I was working in a modeling agency for a long time prior to that and was on movie sets and stuff like that. So I was always in and around the entertainment world and love of it. And then my one of my top favorite bands is Red Hot Chili Peppers, especially as a kid, and they were doing this Canadian there was this Canadian contest every year called the Most in Canadian Cabin Party, and it would be if you found a black bottle in your case of beer, you got a pass to this secret location, small, 500 people max, huge band. And they didn't announce the band until after, and lo and behold, it was the Chili Peppers. So I went nuts. I called everybody, all kinds of people, just anything. I just want to buy a ticket. I just want to see them. Anyways, I ended up, a friend of mine named Jason Rockcliffe invited me to a cottage that he and his mates were renting. And on that cottage was the main lot. And it's Scott Carmichael, big up Scott Carmichael. He's got his own production company. He was running this show. Lo and behold, that's where the Chili Peppers were playing. And we got to be friends, and he learned that I did styling and I did this and that. And he thought I was great. And he goes, well, listen, you're going to dress the band on Thursday. And of course I was being coy as if I didn't really know. Scott, the truth is out. And I was like, who? Which band? What do you mean? And he was like, the Chili Peppers. I was like, oh, really? And I was like, how do I not? I was like, how do I sound professional? Key, people, professional. How much? How much is the gig? Meanwhile, as if I wouldn't, sorry, am I making sound here? As if I wouldn't have paid them. Anyways, I ended up working for them that day, and I wowed their backstage girl. You know, and she loved my work because I was super, super dedicated, and she brought me on tour. And then through that, you just meet, you know, our bubble, it's so small. You meet so many people, and then boom, 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 you're like getting called for other gigs here and there. So that was the very beginning, you know, and then which was my very first band that I ever worked for, was the Red Hot Chili Peppers on tour. My favorite band. They had no idea. I played it really cool every day, but learned so much. Yeah.
Because most people like me, I've weed in a pint glass. I've played the most scummiest foul dumps. I mean, that's most people's opening into the industry, but you were like bang right in the top.
I don't do, you know, I just go straight to the top, honey. And I don't do van tours as a result of that, because I was quite spoiled, right? It's like, sorry, do I not get my own bunk? No. But yeah, so that was the beginning of the journey, the lifelong journey.
That is incredible. And what were the Chili Peppers like to work with? So close and personal, because when you're doing wardrobe, you're really
backstage. Backstage coordinator. We created like a home on the road, you know, back in the dressing rooms, which is really important, as you know, as a touring person. And obviously we toured together, you know, to walk into these locker rooms every day just is so sterile, right? I mean, well, you know, you've got to put your best face on to get on stage and make all those people who paid their hard-earned money to go and watch you feel like you're literally doing this for them every single day, just them, you know? So that was a big thing for us to do. And I think with the Chili Peppers, they're great guys, obviously. Are we?
I lost you a second there. Okay. Sorry.
Is that you?
Can you hear me here?
Italy, right?
Okay, folks, hold on a sec. Slight.
Let's see.
Okay, I can hear you there. Something's happening.
There, right?
Yes. Okay, hold on a sec.
Hopefully we're frozen on pretty faces.
You are frozen, ecstatically gorgeous. Okay.
I'm wondering if I should move to my... Hold on, let's see what's going on here. I've got... It could be my phone, to be fair.
Okay, don't worry. I'll check my phone. Here we go, folks. You know, this is the beauty of live stuff. I have to say, about an hour ago, when I was walking around the house trying to find the charger with a candle, not my favorite moment. Thank you, Neil and Gary, that you can still hear us. I'm just
great.
Yeah, love that. We're going to just double check what we can do about I'm just checking my phone, turning it off and back on again. So for anyone that is new to these technological things, as I am, what I'm actually doing is I'm going live on my phone for Instagram and live on my computer for Facebook and YouTube. So apologies, folks. Well, why don't we dive into another question while I'm just problem solving the telephone here?
Okay.
So obviously we're leading up to International Women's Day. And so I'd love to ask you some female focused questions, Michelle, because
Definitely.
You're an ultimate warrior. I've witnessed you time and time again on the road deal with really stressful situations, be really, really calm. And let's not forget, Leonard Cohen himself called you the Minister of Mirth.
Yes. Best gift ever.
Best gift ever.
I have 1,000 nicknames, and that one definitely nothing surpasses that. At first, I was like, "What's Mirth?" I was thinking Myrrh, and then because he was like obviously king of like wordsmith, and I was like, "Mirth is a very old word." I did have to look it up.
Yes, what a word to go for. So we need to ask more about this, your Minister of Mirth role, but I'd like to ask you a little bit about some female-focused things. So can I ask about the women who have professionally or personally inspired you?
Hold on. Whoa, did we log off of that live and now we're going back in?
I think we're going back in.
Yeah, because it just kicked me out.
It kicked you out. Okay. This is the beauty of live, peeps.
Yeah, and the beauty of lockdowns.
Lockdown.
Beauty, if there was any.
Totally. Okay, I'm going back on to Instagram Live here. Here we go. Bang. I don't know if you've heard of someone called the holistic psychologist. Have you?
No, but I'm very curious and intrigued.
She's a very interesting person. And I was watching her live the other day, and she has like 3 million followers, and she had a mishap. And I thought, wow, if she can have a mishap.
Well, I mean, come on. I think I've watched a lot of these things happen, and there's always technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Thank God it's not Mercury's not in retrograde right now. Otherwise, it would be way worse.
It would be way worse. It would be. Okay, so
there you go.
Going back onto here. And
bear with us, friends, folks.
Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're back on. So sorry, everyone.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, let me turn this guy down.
This guy up. Okay.
Yay.
And so for everyone who is joining us, apologies for the mishaps. We had a slight technical malfunction, but we're back on.
There's Maddie.
Oh. We're back online with my dear friend and great inspiration, Michelle Grimaldi. So for any of you that missed the opening, it's a great thrill to be here with Michelle. She's one of my dear friends, and also is a real trailblazer. She's worked for the Chili Peppers, Leonard Cohen, and many EDM artists. So we're back online. So apologies. We were talking about women in industry, and I wanted to ask Michelle about the women who've personally and professionally inspired you.
Well, personally, for sure, it was my nonna, my grandmother, Maria Grimaldi, who had 7 children, 6 of which born in Italy, and then with my grandfather, obviously, and they immigrated to Canada and built a life here. And then, and then she wanted to have 1 Canadian child, and that was my beautiful Aunt Lena, both of whom are together up there now. They both just personally inspired me to just always be strong woman, but also, love things that are traditionally like what they call women, stereotypical kitchen stuff, like cooking and cleaning. Listen, I don't think that it's just a woman's job, but I love knowing those things because of my nonna, I love knowing how to cook. I mean, if you can't take care of your insides, how can you care about anything else? Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and you are an amazing chef. I love your cooking.
Well, you're in Italy now, so you're getting the goods right there.
Know it.
Oh, I so love that. Professionally, I mean, Janice Joplin. Obviously, I did not know her personally, but she's my queen. Freddie Mercury's my king, but Janice is my queen. So figured that one out. She truly was one of the first trailblazers for women in music. Unfortunately, she died at a young age of 27, along with all the other big rock stars that died at 27. But she kicked down doors, and she didn't take any BS.
No way. She really didn't.
And so she was like, look, I might not be pretty, are you getting echo?
I'm getting a little bit of echo here. How's that? Is that any better?
You're not echoing. Let me see me. Nope. Good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, she just really, come on. Like, first of all, never mind her rock, that voice. She just didn't give a shit. She just didn't care. And she was like, look, you like me, you don't like me, but don't think you're taking advantage of me. Yes. And so for her, for inspiration in terms of musician or artist, that's my girl right there.
And her voice as well. It's the very essence of her, the sound.
Yeah, but let me just add something. Inspiring currently, I would definitely say that you and your sister, Charlie, the Webb sisters, for those of you who are, not as familiar, you should be. No, honestly, watching you guys every day, along with Sharon Robinson, oh my gosh, goddess, all of you goddesses. It was really wonderful and inspiring because as a kid, I always wanted to be a singer. And, I sang in the choir and I sang, with friends, this, that, and the other, but I never actually pursued it hardcore. And I always get really inspired by people who did and stuck with it. I just worked in the background instead, right? Which I love. But yeah, so you guys inspire me very much so.
Thank you so much. As I mentioned earlier, when you have a tour, it's like a big family, and what people see is on what's going on stage, but it's like the iceberg. You see the tip of it, but there's such a fundamental part of the whole touring company, which nothing would function without. And Michelle's a big part of that. Can you give us an example of a day in the life of Michelle Grimaldi on the road?
Oh, on the road. At home, it's always drinking coffee out of my Queen mug.
Hello.
In Liverpool. Thank you very much. On the road. Okay. Well, lobby call if we're at a hotel and not back to back, but lobby call will be about 7:30 a.m. Yeah. Usually the lampies, aka the people that do all the lights and hang up all the rigging and not riggers, but they go after the riggers. Riggers are first. Don't yell at me, people. I'm gonna get like, how could you say that? So 7:30, you're up, and you start. Basically, you wait for your cases to roll into your offices and dressing rooms, and then I just open them up and start setting up. Basic stuff like printers and all your plug-in stuff, just tables. Where's the production manager going to sit? Where's the picking the spaces where the artists will go. Then So generally once that happens, I start putting directional signs backstage. Really basic, but so important. Otherwise, how would you know where to go when you arrive to a gig, right? You're like, what? Like, you have no idea. Stuff like that. That's just the beginning. Then you go through schedules, which you print out, you hand out to all the crew so that they know, when the gigs are like what's going on in the whole day, including catering. Go check up on catering. First and foremost, yes, make sure that breakfast is served. Otherwise, hungry people are not happy people. Hangry people. Yeah, very hangry. On this last tour, I had the opportunity with Elenium, who's an EDM artist. I had the opportunity to create all of the menus for all of North America. So I was advancing these menus with caterers in each venue. So you just follow up with that. Yes, it's a lot.
Big job because, to cater for everyone's needs, because lots of people have tricky, wicky needs. I know I'm one of them.
Definitely.
Can I have some oat milk and almond milk and all this?
Now, by the way, love it. Yeah. Yeah, you and no dairy in the soups. So we'd have vegan soups because you and Charlie preferred no dairy because of obviously vocal stuff, right? Mainly. Yeah, I remember, honey. That was a long time.
Here I am.
No, you're not. That makes sense. You have to care for your tool that you're standing on stage. Like, that's the whole reason we're there, right? So we don't care for the artists that way and cater to their needs, as well as the crew who are, literally up for hours and hours and hours building things for a show that's going to last, 2 hours. Meanwhile, it took us this whole day. Our days are like, my days are about 20 to 22 hour days on the road.
20 to 22.
Or maybe 20. Yeah, 20. It depends. Sometimes we have 4 back-to-backs in various spots, like really far locations, meaning, one city to another, and it's 500 miles in between. And we loaded out and got finished at about 2:30 a.m. and we're supposed to load in at, it just, it's, you just don't really sleep because you're not getting on the bus and going straight to sleep, are you? You're kind of unwinding. You just load it out. And so it's a whole.
You're pumped.
Yeah, exactly. Especially after watching a show, then you load out and then you have a couple of drinks or, dubs or whatever you prefer. It's legal in my country. So, hi.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So that's the day.
Wow. That's a really long day. And to think that you're doing days like that, when we say back to backs, that's a day doing the same day back to back for 4 days. That's
different cities. Yeah, different cities. Yeah, because it would be, if we were 3 gigs in one city, that'd be a walk away. We load in on the one day and load out on that last day. So those in betweens, you usually get to sleep in a little bit more, right? We don't get there at 8 a.m. because what's the point? We've already loaded in, right? So we got to get there and make sure everything's working, get there in time for you guys to arrive for sound check. And then when it's artists are there, then that's a whole other job for me. Then I'm like making sure everything's going on with them. And do you know what I mean? So
it's a lot of spider's legs in action here. By the way, Nikki Gamble says Dan. She mentions Dan Gamble.
Oh, Gambino. Yes. I love Dan Gamble. He's so, I miss him. I actually just, a photo today popped up on a memory on Facebook. He was here about 8 years ago today.
Wow. I saw him a couple of years ago. We finished the Tom Petty tour and I went to Vancouver for a little trip and just got an Airbnb and did some relaxing on my own. And he came through Vancouver with Coldplay. So we got to hang out.
Amazing.
So Nikki, what a wonderful son. Such a special person.
Hi, Nikki. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank
you, Gary. Gary's just said one of my device is a bit too loud and echoey. How's that? Shall I turn down a little bit more here? How's that, folks? Let me know if that's a bit better. Yeah. And we're getting a little bit of sound from your mic.
Okay, hold on one sec. Let me just take this.
Great. Thank you.
It's probably that one,
right? It's incredible. If you think of the people on the road that are working these long hours and then you get home after a tour. When you get home, what's your process? How do you decompress?
Goodness.
How do you relax?
Well, we call it, I think most of us crew people call it, well, I think artists do. Post-tour blues. Yeah. And you know how it is. You get that as well. As a crew person, I can relate to other crew people. We sleep for about a week, like literally kind of just, your body tells you it's okay to relax. And then sometimes I'll have like these moments where I'm sleeping and it's the morning and I'll hear, I live downtown Toronto, so there's construction happening and stuff, and I'll hear a truck in reverse, doing the oop, oop, and I'll fly out of bed thinking that I'm late for load-in, because that's what you hear in load-in is all the stress. And I'll stand and I'll be like, wait, oh, I'm in my house. Okay, calm down. So there's a bit of that. And then it's about visiting family and friends, like straight, like as soon as you're rested, it's like, all right, let's go. I need the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, quite right, because you've missed out all this time with your dearest, and this time you It's also
Well, I mean,
can be quite lonely, can't it, on the road?
Sure. And that's why I think like our tour with Leonard was such a great family dynamic. Like we were a family, you know, so we kept each other not lonely, right? Like I think so. I didn't have a major depression after. I missed it. I missed you guys, but I didn't have that. Do you know that? Oh, hi, Sabrina. Ooh. Oh, Joey.
Joey! Hey, Joey! How are you? We've got another one of our tour buddies come online here. Okay, let us know how you're doing, Joe, and if you have any questions for Michelle. And also, if anyone has any questions here on Facebook, please holler up. I've got the questions up in front of me, and we've got Chris Bynum as well, and another one of our tour buddies. So if any of you have any questions for our brilliant Michelle, please let us know. Hey, Chris. So can I ask a little bit about what changes you would like to see in creative industries or in any workplace? Because I know you've worked in so many different scenarios.
Yeah.
What would you like to see happening for women and girls, and how would you like to see that unfold?
Okay, well, let's say specifically for our industry. I would like to see a little bit more of, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying that I haven't worked with people who are absolutely wonderful and accepting, but I do see a lot of, you know, just that old school mentality, the misogynistic mentality that as a crew person, as a roadie, not artist, you sort of have, as a female, you sort of have to become one of the boys in order to, which I am one of the boys growing up. My father raised me and me and my sister, and you know, I have tons of dude friends, and so I'm, you know, I'm cool like that. But you kind of have to, if you're not necessarily straight away like that, you kind of have to play it. Otherwise, you will never get pulled into their little inside jokes and circles, and sometimes those things will turn against you if you're not a part of it. And often it's like, I shouldn't have to be that. I should just be, I'm here in my own, like I've worked my own worth, and I've earned my place here. So it didn't have to be a part of any club, you know, any boys club or anything like that. You should just be, okay, look at her accolades. This is what she's done. Great.
Right.
So equal, obviously we're all praying for equal, just equal opportunity, equal pay. That's another one, because I could tell you production coordinators in the industry on tour don't make as much, not nearly as much as their counterparts in other divisions. I'm not saying, like, every role has its skill. I get that.
Sure.
But when somebody's working probably nonstop throughout the whole day, I think there's a level that it needs to come up to a little bit more, because there are no breaks. Do you know what I mean? There are no breaks at all for people in production.
No, you don't get an hour lunch break. You don't even get half an hour. I've seen you on the fly running through the corridors with a bike, because you're going from one job to another. There's no allocated rest time in that.
Yeah, like right, for the guys that are building the stage and the lights in front of house and all that stuff. They load in, and once they're done, there is usually a little dark moment. The stage goes dark or whatever, and they're able to chill out, go on the boss, play games maybe. And that's great. I mean, like I said, everybody chooses their roles. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I think the pay should measure up more for that work, the amount of hours you actually putting into the gig. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so with you on that, because in actual fact, you can't compare what a woman or a man does in the workplace. If you're a human being and you're showing up for work and you're doing a great job, full stop.
Yeah.
Let's just see the wage reflect that. We also, I've just noticed we have Brian Kirk, our pants, on Facebook with us as well. So hi, Brian.
And Rabbit, amazing front of house. Hi, Rabbit.
We have a question come in from my pal Phil Cartwright. Menu-wise, what nutritional supplements would you recommend whilst touring, Michelle?
I would definitely recommend, everybody has their choices of like shakes, power shakes, protein shakes. I myself use Isogenics. Thank you, Sabrina Di Tommaso. Yes. My girl Sabrina got me on it a couple of years ago when I just was constantly feeling weak and tired, and I eat healthy. So she was like, look, just let me try this. Let me try this on you. And we did, and it is such a boost. So I brought it on the road with me. And especially for any crew that were just feeling heavy, that, you know, I'm not saying you have to do it every day. If you can afford to do it every day, it can get expensive. But I recommend it. Find which one works for you. Not everybody can handle whey.
No way, man. What's up,
right?
dude?
Not everybody can, like, you know, so find which one's good for your stomach. But I definitely recommend starting with a good power shake / smoothie in the day, but with a bit of protein in it. That way it gives you a boost. And so that's my recommend. And oil of oregano all the time, every day.
Whoa, that stuff is so powerful.
It is a genius lifesaver. Like it cures. It's unbelievable how much if I feel a little cold coming on, some of that, it's gone. So
it's gone. So how many drops do you do? This is I
do 5. 5 drops. And then I also make sure that I have some like yogurt, something with probiotics, because those things, the pure oils, can be harsh on the tummy. Do you know what I mean? While the essentials are right. So
you need, because no one wants to be in a situation where, actually, I'm not going to go into that, but you know what I'm saying, girlfriend. Okay. So how do you find the dynamics of balancing this really incredible work life and your family life, your personal needs and other people's needs? Like, for example, I know you've got such close friends and some wonderful babies in your life that are your second mama to, and your dad. And so how do you balance that when this kind of job is very demanding?
Honestly, I kind of just, before being able to video call anybody. And I remember, do you remember when it was happening on our tour, and your now brother-in-law, love him so much. Hello, Daniel.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Shout out for sure. He was like, do you know that you're going to be able to talk video with people? And we were like, no way. Do you remember? We just did it. And this is in our tiny, like, it was only the last, 12 years or something. So thank God for that. That's how I do that now. Before, though, I would literally just put my head down and go, okay, and call like every other day or whatever. I'd always check in with my pops. Like, my dad is, my hero. So I'd always check in with him. And, my brothers were growing up. Oh, goodness. I thought about something that Joseph Carenza III said to me on my brother's 13th birthday. But it was so R-rated about him turning 13. Something about hiding socks. Anyways. So I just calls, but generally I'd put my head down and go, look, it's 3 months on this leg. Just do it. You're going to have an amazing time no matter what. You have family on the road. And then when you're not on the road, you're missing that family too. So you just kind of like put it in your head that you're going to always be missing somebody. You're going to always, so you just have to find peace with that and make sure you keep in contact. Really, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you're an amazing communicator. And actually, I've witnessed the way you deal with things. You're very practical. You figure it out. You go, this is what it is. You know what you're going to do. You root down. I love that about you.
I try to be. Definitely try to be. Yeah. I mean, I can be pretty darn emotional.
So Michelle, Phil says here, why does Michelle look so young given her work schedule? I second that.
I think it's really good lighting because the sun is behind the camera. So there's her face. There we are. See, look, I have Victor Newman forehead for those Young and the Restless fans.
The most beautiful forehead, just wonderful.
But oils for the face, essential oils. I use a CBD oil on my face, and that's been nice. Yep.
Lovely.
So there you go. And I eat well.
You do eat well.
And being happy really, and finding that happiness, like, you know, which everybody's different. It doesn't necessarily have to be about a partner, but finding some form of happiness can keep, you know, keep you younger, more youthful. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I had a situation recently where I made a mistake in some of the credits for something, and I upset people and who I love. And I'm so hard on myself when I make a big mistake, particularly because respect and consideration are such important values. It's something I really struggle with. And then how to rationalize the mistakes you make and still find yourself enjoying and being happy. Because I find that when I make mistakes, my perfectionism really hits me hard, and then
you're harder.
I can't be happy for that period of time. So
and recognizing that no matter what in life, there are always mistakes. So if you and you will make them, and you know, I know you, of course because you have the biggest heart. Like, honestly, so I'm sure you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. And you stressed and that stress is only just going to add a couple more, you know, wrinkles right there. And your friends know you didn't need to, or your colleagues, you apologize, you make up for it, and moving on. Do you know what I mean? Do you know, do you know, on the Leonard Cohen tribute, Mr. Chris Bynum pointed this one out. The tribute there were French credits that rolled that we did in Montreal. For those of you who don't know, we like huge, amazing tribute concert to sweet Leonard Cohen. That's tour papa extraordinaire for me, anyways. Anyways, the credits rolled, and my title was the piano tuner.
You are kidding.
No, I'm not. So, and that's just a little slip, I think, because I could see the names, because I was the top for like artist relations, right? Because I was taking care of all the artists in the main hub, right? Versus at the gig. And I think it was just a slip of one line, like it went, you know, in the credits it was, and then mine just happened to go beside that one instead of the one underneath, type of thing. So for that gentleman, he's not the tuner anymore, right? And it happens. But it happens. I did bring it up to the powers that be on the team there. You know, and it was just it literally, it's a slip. So is that guy gonna be like, oh my God, like, yeah, I'm sure he'd be upset a little bit, but nobody's gonna call me to tune their piano. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I saw the credits.
I might actually. You do a bloody brilliant job.
You know, I'm calling Weingartner right in. I'm like, honey, listen, I'll pay you half of what I'm getting paid. Can you tune this? But totally. Yeah,
if anyone can do it, because Michelle has a backpack or a bum bag or a fanny pack, whatever you like. She's always got. You're like a real life superwoman.
Oh my gosh.
You know, you've always got tools. You've always got things to mend something. So
you know, Maddie just said, my beautiful Maddie, who's watching right now, I was like, which t-shirt should I wear? And he was like, wear your Wonder Woman shirt. He was joking. Of course, he got that for me in Seattle. But I was like, no, because it's really bright blue. But I'm wearing Albert Hammond Jr. because he and his wife are expecting their first child this week. So bless, sending out the good vibes.
Best of luck for them. Yeah, you do deserve to wear the Superwoman, Wonder Woman shirt.
I was the really fun, the convenient friend at raves, because I had all the fixins. I had, you know, the bubble gum and the glow sticks and the Vicks Vapor Rub and oh, those days.
I don't mean to dump myself in it, but do you remember the times you've saved me, like when I've had a slight slip up, celebrating a little bit too hard?
Hello. Was it my birthday in Vienna, I think? Oh my God.
I think it may have been.
Mallet.
I think I was doing is I was just very enthusiastically dedicated to your birthday. That's all.
Oh, and
That's all.
I honestly appreciated, like,
Mhm.
you wore it well. You definitely wore
You're
it well.
welcome.
Thank you. Do you remember
I
that at
apologize
midnight?
to whoever found the toilet after I was in it because I think
Oh, well,
I
see, the
had a
next day
certain thing.
we went for Chinese food the next day. That washroom had a visit from that was hangover day, and I was like, oh. It was
It's
not good.
terrible.
Yeah,
I'm
but hold on,
mortified.
that's not our fault. We try. So you and Charlie were like, I feel like a little snack. And we're like, oh, we need some more booze. It was my birthday, people. Okay, in Vienna. My last name is Grimaldi, like the royal family of Monaco. A lot of people I don't know, but I called front desk and said, listen, do you think we could get just a couple of drinks up here and a couple of snacks? It's my birthday. And they're like, oh, you're on the Leonard Cohen tour. And I was like, they're like, you're on the Leonard Cohen crew or group. And I was like, yes, but this is just for me or whatever. They brought up, remember, a trolley with a full bottle of vodka, like bottle service, mixes, and a huge plate of cakes and sweets and all. Do you remember? So we just
I
literally
do
had this.
remember.
And they didn't charge me, by the way. Happy birthday.
Wow.
They did not charge. And then, so there you go. It was one of those nights. Those are fun nights on the road, folks, but they don't always end up well.
They don't always end up well. And something I discovered over the period of a tour, I'd be like, woohoo, we're on the tour. Yeah.
And
first,
then
month. And then into month 2, I was a literal hermit.
Yeah, you would.
At 8 p.m. whenever I could.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, because it's that adrenaline, and then once it settles in, you're like, okay, I don't necessarily have to, go hard every night, except for on stage, especially not, off stage, because you want to keep looking well, feeling well, performing well as a result, right?
Yeah, I'm so with you on that. I started to figure that every single hour of my day on the road, I would think, do I do this? Is this serving the show? Okay, no, I can't do it. People would say, do you want to go to this museum? I think, do I have the energy today to do that and do the show so strong and with my whole heart? No, can't do it. Yeah. And it's such a shame when you're in an incredible city, but you just can't.
You just can't. And it's not worth the risks of feeling crappy during a performance, especially when you just know that people are paying their hard-earned money to come and see you. You are expected, even though you're human beings, and a lot of people forget that. They forget that you're human and you might have an off day. Your vocals might have a little off, and they might just, there's so many trolls out there, but you're human. And I think just, well, to yourself, you mean, or
to myself?
Yeah, but of course, we're our own worst critics, right? But I just think that if keeping in mind that that's why you're on the road, is that your performance should try to be top notch. And that will be top notch if you're taking care of yourself. Do you know what I mean?
So with you on that. Yeah. And it became a life mission to focus on what I needed to do the show. Because I think in the early days, I seemed to take it really in my stride. But as the years went on, I realized I needed a huge bag of vitamins. I needed my meditation tapes. I needed the ashwagandha oil, just because it was quite strenuous. And I can't imagine for you, because it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, because you guys would get there at, let's say 4:00.
Sure.
Meanwhile, we've been there since 7 a.m. type of thing.
You've already done a work day.
A whole work day, yeah. Already. And when you guys get there, it's like, okay, punch in, and it's a whole new job. Because now it's taking care of the artist, making sure that everything's going, and prepping before showtime, and stuff like that, So yeah, but that's the key for especially, listen, men, women, there's all the debates, but because it is International Women's Day coming up, women do have a few more things they do need to care for physically for themselves on an everyday basis. We have more hormones than men do. Those things will keep other things out of check. I'm not talking about mood swings. I'm talking about internal.
Exactly what you mean.
So I think it's important to recognize that going in on this type of gig and prepare for that. You know, bring all your vitamins, bring all your whatever it is that you do in the general state. You have to kick it up then from everyday life for sure. You have to kick it up a notch, bring more, because it's more grueling, right? As satisfying as it is, it's physically grueling. So
yes, that's a really insightful thought, though. I really love how you say that, because men and women have masculine and feminine energies. All of us have that balance. But I think femininity and yin, if one wants to call it that, that does need some more holding, space holding, warmth, security in the way of. I know for myself, I'm like my best friend on the road. I'll do nice things for myself and take care of myself. And there does need a lot of space holding. And recently I've been listening to the Laura Marling podcast, Reversal of the Muse, and she's talking about women in studios. And she's saying, listen, I'm in bed at 10 p.m. I can't work till 1 a.m. But she was noticing that night and night, again, that the men in the studios wanted to do that kind of timing. But I think that that's a very insightful thought. You know, women and men need different kind of caretaking.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, you were your best friend on the road, but you're also very sweet to other people all the time. Like, I can just point out that when my beautiful Nonna died and we were in Victoria, I think we were in British Columbia, you know, and it was show day that I got the call. We had gone to the Killers the night before because they're my mates, and remember, my friends were there, so we went the night before, which was a great night, and so obviously had a good night. And then I got the call the next morning, which is show day, and I'm like, okay, put your face on, it's show day, even though, you know, this is so heartbreaking. And you and Charlie showed up with a card and these lovely chocolates that were so delicious, and just a really caring card, and just little things like that is such support, and it works for everybody. You don't have to be women to do that. It makes everybody happy, those things. But do you know what I mean? And I think doing that in this industry where it could be so cutthroat so often and so cold and sterile in a lot of times, I think remembering that people have feelings, that you have feelings, and, you know, it is the age old, you know, God fearing way, or God's way of do unto others as you'll have done to yourself.
Right.
And if you try to live by that genuinely, you'll be zen, you know?
Yeah, I really remember that. And the thought that you've lost one of the closest people to you and you're still getting up, going to work. And this is another one of the differences for people in music. I know a lot of people in different worlds do have to go to work no matter what, but in music, the show's going to happen. So
no sick days,
It's just so painful, though, that on that devastating day that, you know, you couldn't take the time to think
just
of your
grieve by
mum.
myself. Yeah. Well, and the most amazing thing was Leonard. Obviously, what oh gosh, he put it into perspective for me, because, you know, a few people were like, well, you know, I missed this and I missed that, and, you know, I was like, how do I not go home? What do you mean? Plus, we were in Canada, so it was a lot easier. If we were in Europe, I don't think it would have happened, obviously. But Leonard just said to me, sweetheart, let me ask you something. Looking 10 years from now, or in 10 years from now, looking back, will you regret not being with your family? And I was like, yes. And he said, then you're going home. And the wonderful Lorca filled in for me on those couple of days. Mwah. Like, she has no idea how grateful I was, like so beyond grateful for that. And for Leonard to putting that into perspective for me, and to consider that last year was 10 years.
Wow.
And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I 100% would have regretted it. So you also, that's another thing in our world too. It's like, you have to decide what's really important. And sometimes you're taking a risk, but at the end of the day, tours last this amount of time and then they're done, but your life still goes on.
Yeah. I'm so with you on that. And that you had the strength to say, or to even feel, you had the strength to go, hang on, what's really right for me to do in this situation. So really saluting you for your insight in that moment.
Yeah, I like, she was the only mother that I ever knew, so that would have been really crazy if I missed just mourning with my family for those couple of days, and then I was right back out on the road, right? I mean, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us, because I love to hear of someone being strong enough to know what's the truest thing to their own heart. It takes a lot, I think, particularly when you have the pressure of, I don't want to lose my job.
Well, that's it.
Think? How will they function without me? All of these things. So
yeah, because fear, that's fear.
Yeah.
Fear
right?
drives those decisions. And then when you let fear drive your decisions over, let's say, logic and heart, there's regret.
Wow. Can I write that down on my mirror, please?
Or in another song, no problem.
I'm just gonna have to remember that one. That's amazing.
I'm gonna have to remember it.
Oh, brilliant. Can you share a little bit more about your experiences in relation to International Women's Day? Because this is such a key topic right now, because I really feel each International Women's Day, I really feel a huge sense of momentum. I really feel that people are more and more aware of this. And this isn't to say women are better than men or men are better than women. This is purely to say we're people, and we want to ask questions and consider what each person needs in a workplace and in their own homes. So how would you feel if there were more women in the music workplace?
It can go, it's hard to say, and I don't want women, especially women's lib people to get mad at me, but it can go either way. It can be really, really wonderful because women, empower if women are empowering each other. But there's a lot of women who are way too competitive, who would sooner knock you down so that they can lift themselves up, and all for the man. Whoever, it's usually the men that are at the top of bosses in our industry. For like, not completely. I know a lot of female tour managers and managers, but mostly it's men. So, if you're in good with the dudes, then it doesn't matter everybody else. And unfortunately, I've had experiences with a female who wanted to control me, put me down, talked crap about me after, got around, and people brought these examples to me and said, just so you know, that's what she's saying, but we know the truth. And it's like, so it makes you look like an idiot. But I think if we're taking care of each other, there's no reason for us not to work together harmoniously. For example, me and you on the same tour, I'm not doing your job. You're not doing mine. Why am I competing with you? Do you know what I'm saying? So
I am so with you. I'm so with you. And I've in my earlier years, I really struggled with this sense of competitiveness. And I would try to speak to other women and say, listen, you're amazing. You do your thing. And also I need to be I need to be really in my energy as well. And how can we find a way that you feel supported and I can exist here?
Right.
Because we both know that if there's competitiveness, it normally is rooted in that little seedling of insecurity, which, hey, we all have. I have it, but I don't want my insecurity to blind me and then injure someone else. I really try and keep myself in check. And if I do feel threatened or insecure with someone, normally what it means is I really admire them and I wish I had a little bit of what they have. So then I go, okay, girlfriend, what can you do about that? They've got real sass and they speak their mind, but really calmly and concisely. So what can I do about that? I can really think about what I say and communicate that in a way that's true to me. I don't have to compete with this other person. What are your tools in that moment when you're feeling competitiveness in any scenario?
Well, I mean, for example, on our tour, just before because if you remember, I jumped on a month in because I was in Europe. So I jumped in Toronto, and we had 4 shows. So that means walk away. So we had time to shop, and I went with this person. And I was told that my style was too sexy.
Wow.
Jeans, t-shirt, and chucks.
You went, yeah.
Rock t-shirts, jeans, skinny jeans. But I was told because I had a gap, the gap between my legs, that was because there were religious people on this tour. So I stood there in front of a store feeling so kind of defeated. Hi, Dan Weingartner.
Hi, Dan Weingartner.
And I said to her, that's discrimination. What are you talking about? And she literally said to me, well, then just don't come on the tour. And so I literally had to suck it up. I spent about, because we were off to Ireland after that, I had to go shopping with her. And I spent about 500 euros on some clothes, like some just looser fitting jeans. So there's that. That's what happened there. But that happened in the beginning. And Dan Weingartner, thank you very much, was one of my, crusaders. I was so grateful for him, still am, but who was seeing these things. This person sort of beating me down kind of thing. And I just kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to lose the job. Which happens with male-female situation, or with the male thing, if you're not cool enough, he's going to, you're not getting called out for that next tour. But eventually I just ditch. And I just was like, okay, well, now we went from this to I'm just not speaking. That's it. You're not in my world anymore. So I'll do my job. You do yours. I'll still be polite, but I just think don't take bullshit. I don't think it's okay to take bullshit. I would never in 1,000 years do that now. I did then, but I wouldn't now.
What would you do now?
I would say, do we need to have a sit down? Do we need to have a talk? What is wrong here? What is the issue that you have with me so we can resolve this?
Yeah.
And if they can't name an issue or it's all BS stuff, I'm just going to be like, look, then I realize your issues with you. I want you to have peaceful happiness in your life. And if that doesn't include me, that's okay. But I hope you find peace. Just hope you find peace on your own.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, because there's a difference, isn't there, between projecting your opinions onto someone else and someone needing to say, for example, for me, if I've actually done something wrong, then I appreciate someone telling me. But if no one's done anything wrong and it's a power trip dynamic, it's really important to be conscious about it and
strong.
It's very. One therapist taught me about this thing called truth talking, where you acknowledge the other person and you recognize them first and you say, thank you for this. You acknowledge them. You then say how the behavior makes you feel in one way or another. I feel, using I language. And then finally you say, moving forward, I need this to be in this job, or I need this to I need to find a way that we can do this. Otherwise, it's just not going to work for me. And your point is you don't want to lose your job. And that's my problem as well, because I've struggled sometimes thinking, what will happen to me if I lose this job?
Right.
So it's not an easy situation. And I think your point is about more women in the workplace. In fact, women who are very conscious and empowered and communicative, fantastic. But the people who are competitive, you know, I understand where it comes from, but can we find a way to know that we're all standing in this workplace and we want to work together, we want to support each other? This is always what I ask myself.
Yeah, I think, well, I'll tell you, that particular person, Leonard's tour was the tour with the most females that I've ever toured.
Really?
Yeah. So it was you, Charlie and Sharon as singers. Yeah. And then it was myself. It was that person. It was the other person.
Sure.
Bless them. And then of course it was Lorca, who was mainly there, but kind of sometimes left or whatever, but she was mainly there, obviously. So it was a lot. And the person that sort of tried to sort of shut me down or whatever made a comment about how horrible it's going to be with so many women. And I looked at her and I was like, you're a woman. How on earth could you say that? Because that person's used to being the only female and having all the attention and energy, male. I guess that's what they strive for. And again, that comes down to, and I feel very, very badly for her because she was just sad inside, unfortunately. And nothing made her happy. But to put this tour down thinking, oh God, look what's this too much female energy, too many hormones. I was flabbergasted. I'm like, you're not supposed to say that at all. Like,
come on, let's support each other, girlfriend.
Yeah, like you're the person that's going to say, oh no, or you're in a bad mood or you're on your period. Like, you're not supposed to say that, like, so I was that really kind of opened my eyes to that person, and that was the very, very beginning of the tour. And it opened my eyes and I realized, I can't help you. I tried for years, but I hope you find help and peace in caring for everybody around you and not everybody's out to get you. And I think a lot of females in the industry are just afraid of things because it's a man's world. It was anyways, for the most part.
Right.
So I think it's just it's fear leading.
It's fear. Yeah. It would be really wonderful. I've often thought, like, if I magically had my own tour, I'd have like a weekly check-in. And some people might go, oh gosh, how cheesy. But I'd like go, okay, folks, what things are coming up for people? Does anyone need to voice something in the open space? How are we supporting each other? What can I do more to support you? Like, to have this dialogue. And
I think that's a great idea. I think, you know what, those who don't want to be involved just don't have to. Or maybe some people don't feel comfortable speaking about things out loud. You could do it in an email group, and then they can send you personal messages, stuff like that. There's ways, but I think everybody needs a friend and everybody needs somebody to check in on them. Oh, come on. We need to, like, as strong as I am. Madonna has a line. Yes, Teresa, that's for you. My cousin Teresa's watching. She's freaking out because her favorite's Madonna. Madonna has a line in a song called Joan of Arc. The song is called Joan of Arc. And she says, even hearts made out of steel can break down.
Yes.
So even the strongest of the strong need checking in on. Do you know what I mean? Like,
we really do. Yeah,
totally.
Denise on Facebook here says, I think if someone is authentic in themselves and in relationship, they will find a way to name any hurt or issue between you, because they'll fear because the conflict and will respect you and your relationship enough to want it to be real. This will always also risk and be vulnerable enough to say this hurts, and it may hurt for reasons which are not even about you, but I need to allow this and name it. And hopefully it can allow you into my vulnerability so growth can happen. Sorry, I rambled your words there, Denise. It was written very brilliantly. That was me there. But I agree with you that when you're vulnerable enough to say, this is something I'm struggling with, I'm sorry, but I'm working on it. Yeah, that can really help as well.
Well, I agree, Denise, but also it's humility. It's also accountability. And I think that it's so important for people to be accountable for their own actions, their own words, their own faults and positives, all this stuff. And I think that, when, especially in our world, some people screw up. I've screwed up so many times. I mean, I've been yelled at like crazy, like, cause I put the thing in the wrong room and I didn't realize, backstage and I just go, I'm sorry. I'll correct it. I own it. I don't try to make excuses for things. And so I think that when people are verbally harmful to each other or to one, let's say, like in my case, if that's what we were talking about, I feel like she was drawing from that, maybe, I don't know, from my situation. That person has really hurt me. And I explained that. And they never once at that point was the 10 years that I had known them, ever said sorry for anything to anyone. So it's one of those people that are just not accountable for their own things. Some may say narcissistic, some may say sociopath, where they just don't even hold themselves accountable for things and everything is that. I think with all the things that Denise said, accountability is one of those things that you need to at least be responsible for your own words, actions, feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Quite agree, Michelle. And Denise is quite right. If you're authentic in yourself and able to be vulnerable. By the way, I noticed that Charlie Webb has joined us.
Charlie! Oh God, I miss you.
We love our chat.
Char.
I know that I've taken so much of your time today. I just have a few more questions, or maybe two more.
Go for it. I'm not doing anything. Toronto's been in lockdown for 1,000 years.
Okay. What are some of the tools, emotional tools in your toolbox when you feel uncertain, stressed, or overwhelmed? I mean, I have a truckload, but what's the Michelle Grimaldi toolbox?
I mean, straight up, I smoke a joint. I'm not even joking. I know that sounds on your. I'm reading Charlie's was very attentive. I love you.
Charlie's just saying Michelle was very attentive to whatever artist needed and took action super quickly. Love you, Michelle. Charlie's so right.
Love you too.
Thank you, Michelle.
Like honestly, sometimes I make a nice tea, like a licorice root tea, which is really good for the stomach for anybody who has stomach issues. Pure licorice root tea. I do like a tea. I you know what? Stress for me. I do smoke a joint. I'm not saying that's me. Okay. And I'm an adult. So I'm allowed to do it. It's legal in my country. I'm not recommending it for anybody else. Find your own thing. But it does kind of just chill me out, and there's a reason why cannabis is legal in my country, because they've proven it's medicinal in a way that, is prescribed to people with anxieties and so forth. So I do that, and I definitely blast music. Yeah. And whether it's something chill or something, usually when I'm upset, I like to listen to, really hard music. I was upset. I don't know. I can't even, it was so minuscule now, but like I was just thrown off about something the other day. Oh no, it was actually not minuscule, but it's a personal thing. I could tell you that later. But I was telling Maddie, I was like, I was listening to Arctic Monkeys. I said, I was blasting Arctic Monkeys now. I would have been blasting Rage Against the Machine, but I was too angry. I knew I would have smacked somebody on the street. These are just, just dumb people, I mean. But anyways, blasting music. Currently what I'm listening to, and y'all should definitely, first of all, your stuff, every time you release something, I just, my emotions, because I'm so proud of you. I just love,
Thank you.
Shakespeare. What a gorgeous, first of all, that video. Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
Really?
We're gonna turn this interview around. We're gonna get to that in a sec. But currently listening to the Gorillas' latest record, Song Machine.
wow.
If you haven't,
Wow.
Madonna mia, let me tell you something. It is so brilliant. It is so diverse. He's got Damon's got Robert Smith of The Cure, Beck, Elton John. I mean,
Wow.
Peter Hook of New Order, like loads of artists, very different songs. So I highly recommend it. You've got like some mellow ones and you've got some pick me up ones. So that one, and a band called Muzz, which is the singer of my dear friend Paul Banks of Interpol. It's his band with his childhood friend, who's also an artist and producer and just crazy talented. And it's more of a, it's like, just a driving record with the windows down, sun shining. So there, that's calming. That's calming for me.
Okay, that's really cool. Can you tell us about a day that you look back on with joy?
Oh my God, how many days?
I know. This is the joy.
Okay, yes. So,
Love
and memorable, okay, like specifically on tour, obviously, because we're talking about, being in the industry and stuff. I'd say, well, there were two that tie, and one was when we played Radio City Music Hall with Leonard, and my friends in Strokes and Interpol have always taken really, really good care of me on the road. So I was like, you know what? This is my turn. We're in New York. So I bought like the whole third row, like 250 tickets. And I invited Albert Hammond Jr., Fabrizio, and Nikolai from the Strokes, and then Paul Banks of Interpol and a few others. And so what they didn't know was how Leonard would bring the core crew on stage, and we would go on stage and sing, Whither Thou Goest. So they didn't know that. So what a joy it was to get up on stage, be standing between Dan and Dino. And I look down and I see Albert like kind of look up and be like, guys. And it went down the road. Guys, it's Michelle. And it was so cool to like have that turn around, because it's me usually, in awe of them on stage. So that was cool. And then the first time that Leonard called me Minister of Mirth was when we were on stage. And he said, Leonard, for those of you who don't know, Leonard would, core crew would go up and we'd sing this hymn, Whither Thou Goest. And then Leonard, while we're all humming, he would say, I'd like to take this opportunity to point out the key players that put this thing together, which I freaking love. And I think every artist should do.
Yes.
Come on, like the crew. So he'd name the front of house people, and then he'd come to this, and then he's like, okay, and our Minister of Mirth, Michelle Grimaldi. And it was when my dad and my stepmother were in the audience. And that was the first time he did it. Yeah. And them having dinner, by the way, that was a whole other trip. But that was just like, he just called me that in front of it was just, yeah. So those things stand out for me for sure.
That's incredible. I didn't know it was the night that your family was there.
Yeah, weirdly, right? Weirdly enough that was the night he did it. And also he was like, sweetheart, bring your family to the green room. Your father, always your father. How's your father? Like just he was enamored with my dad because the union thing and leadership. So that was really cool for them to go off and have dinner. That was sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love these stories.
Yeah.
It really takes you back as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Seeing you guys on stage with Tom Petty, that was so brilliant. And I got to meet little Juniper. That was remember, because you guys, I can't even deal. I can't.
No.
And then just because you guys, because there were such vastly different tours. I mean, Leonard's music is so different than Tom Petty's, both respected at the highest levels. But, Tom Petty's rocking and you guys are like rocking up there. And it was just so cool to see that, that party up there. And meaning the party with you guys were definitely like a great family. You know, And it was, yeah, you got really close with them, and I could see that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it was extraordinary. It was extraordinary. So one final question under our International Women's Day umbrella. What advice would you give to any women or girls who are thinking about entering into music management, into the technical side of touring or going on the road? What would you let them know?
I would say, okay, I get asked all the time, how did you get into it? What course can I take? And I didn't go to school for this at all. I just learned in the school of rock, if you will. But I would suggest, first of all, my role, production coordinator or assistant or whatever, can be the easiest one to not be brought on tour if a tour is trying to save money, because all the roles would be divvied up between a lot of the other people. So my recommend is learn something like learn sound engineer, learn lighting engineering, learn how learn some technical skill, because we definitely need more females in the industry doing that stuff in the lead roles, you know. And I think that will speak for itself. And then hopefully our bars won't be completely closed, because, you know, they're already, I mean, astronomically, it breaks my heart. But I'm talking about like the bar venues, like the little venues, get into those gigs as like the house light person or the house sound or the house tech or whatever, and build. And then it's about meeting people, about getting those gigs. But I'd say learning like a technical skill would be so much more powerful than trying to do what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, look what Jessica's saying. Cool. Jessica.
Wow, yeah.
Mish launched me at 14 years old with what became a successful 20-year international modeling career. She's the best for empowering young girls to take. Oh, yeah, Jess, that's my girl Jessica right there. Mommy of three.
Sabrina says best coordinator extraordinaire, best story. Love it. And Joey, our friend from the Leonard Tour, he said this is 100% great advice. I really am with you, Joey, because if you're able to learn some of these technical skills, it gives you a sense of grounding as well. And
absolutely,
you can. If I'd known a little bit more about, even as a musician and artist, a little bit more about sound and how that works when I started out, that would have really, really helped me. So that's really fantastic.
Yeah, I can imagine that from your side of things. As a musician, like, and oh my God, you, especially with a harp, like just bringing that around. It's so lovely that you, that's the instrument you picked. Like, it's a very old instrument. Like, people don't just go, I want to play the harp. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I love it. I love that you play the harp. And I love that when you just posted the other day that Leonard gave you, that he gifted you, that one's stunning.
It's incredible. And it's got a really powerful low end. You know, harps are normally a bit in the little harps, but it's got this powerful low end. I love that, because it's wonderful to have something
amazing,
you know, strong in that area. We're coming to the end here. Yes. Thank you so much, Michelle Grimaldi, for this brilliant insight. My last question today is, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing my boyfriend, Matty. I haven't seen him in...
I'm so enthusiastic. I threw the phone now. I was like,
we don't have... Well, because he's in England. And we're both stuck in our countries over this time. So I'm looking forward to just seeing him, but also mainly, besides the personal side, I can't wait to get back to work with live entertainment. Like, I am desperate. I mean, Billy Talent, if anybody's watching, Billy Talent's got a new record coming out, and I'm dying to hear it, see it live. I need this. Like, I need this. It's like literally it fuels me. Live music, you know. So
yeah, it's your petrol for your engine.
That's it. It's my petrol.
Yeah, it's your petrol, girlfriend.
In it.
So I just want to say a huge, huge thank you to Michelle Grimaldi today. And Michelle, where can people find you if they want to ask you some more advice or check in with you?
I would say best would be on my Instagram is private because I share a lot of photos of children, my family children, not just random children. But Facebook, Michelle Grimaldi, you'll find me. You'll see my photo. I've got sunglasses, and you're welcome to send me messages at any point.
Brilliant. Reach out, because Michelle is such a strong and sound advice for all things, actually. And I really appreciate your insights.
Oh, I love you so much. I think what you're doing this week is brilliant. And
Thank
big up,
you.
big up, big up, big up, everybody. Big up.
Oh, thank you. We have Nikki Gamble saying thank you. Denise, Jane. We have Dan saying thanks, Mersh. Dan Lavoy, Sabrina, France. Trez. We have Trez saying so proud of you, Cuz. So we've got a lot of big love for you here, Michelle.
Oh, yay. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Dan, Sab, Trez. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Maddie. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh,
brilliant.
Maddie's mom just jumped on, and now we're done. Oh. Okay. Oh, Marilyn.
Maddie, I hope, Maddie and Mum, I hope that I'll be able to repost this so you'll be able to go back
share it
and listen to this brilliant, wise, wondrous woman.
Oh,
thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys. Love you. Mwah, mwah. Thanks, Maddie. Love
Cheers.
you.
Love you, friend.
Mwah,
big hug.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye, everyone. Bye.